Numbers, equations, formulas, algebra, number sets, quotients, statistics, and graphs. All of these are part of a language, a way of describing the world around us. It's a language that some children around the world know better than we do. Both 4th and 8th grade students in Hong Kong, Japan, Belgium, Russia, and Hungary do better on standardized math tests than American kids. This is from the U.S. Department of Education.
To compete in the global economy, you must know math. Therefore, it's more important than ever that our students receive solid math instruction in the early grades to prepare them to take and pass algebra and other challenging courses in middle school and high school.
And yet, for our children's success, as well as our own, learning the language of math is crucial. So many of the tasks ahead and so many career choices depend on math. Computer and internet technology, communications, transportation, defense, medicine, pharmacology, and healthcare, manufacturing, aviation, finance, engineering, and one more.
The big challenge that our children are going to have to face is energy technology. Well, energy technology is going to require science, and science depends on math.
But some children struggle with math, in part because if they don't master each concept, addition, long division, fractions, decimals, one after another, eventually, often when they get to algebra, they will end up lost and confused. They will believe they're no good at math and never will be.
When the child begins to start to feel like they can't do math, and then somebody tells them they can't do math, and they keep getting this message over and over and over again, then they have to go to math class. If I were that child, I wouldn't want to go to math class either.
18-year-old Nathan is a senior in high school studying advanced placement calculus.
The key to doing well in math is probably just perseverance, just sticking to just the task, and identifying the problem and coming up with a way to find the solution.
He makes it sound easy, but his competence in math is a long journey that began when he was just a few years old. Playing with blocks, stacking them, putting them in the right order, figuring out puzzles. All of this is the beginning of algebra.
But we're not talking about teaching algebra. We're talking about teaching the kinds of thinking that help children learn how to think in algebra and learn how to think in other higher mathematics.
She says asking kids to set the table with silverware using a repeating pattern or laying blocks end to end in a certain sequence. These are ways of introducing math to a young child. There are 1,000 ways to do it: counting out an allowance, slicing up a cake or a pie in equal shares, buying anything at the store and counting the change, figuring out a budget, weighing things, using a tape measure, playing cards or dice or board games, following a recipe, calculating gas mileage on a trip, on and on and on. Kids start learning math, even algebra, at home.
The more they can actually utilize numbers and interact with numbers in a real-life place, the better off they're going to be, because numbers and math have got to have some meaning. They have to have some reality. They can't just be things floating out there.
They've got to make it come alive. They've got to make math relevant and make a child understand that when a child looks up in the sky and a plane's flying, it's not magic, it's math.
There is a lot that parents can do at home, and one thing they should never do.
The worst thing you can do is to let your child know that you didn't like math, or to say something like, "Oh, math," and roll your eyes and say, "I hated math as a child. I never liked doing math," because your child is going to pick up on the fact that you didn't like math, you turned out all right, I'm not going to care about math either.
One math educator puts it this way:
somehow it's okay not to know math very well, and people confess it so easily.
She says most parents would be reluctant to say to their kids, "I don't like books," or "I hate to read or write." But somehow, it's okay to say, "I hate math." The best advice?
If you as a parent hated math as a kid, and if you didn't do well in math, keep that to yourself. Don't share that with your child. Let your child know that math is important. Math is something that we use every day.
Remember Nathan studying math in high school? Earlier in the year, he was struggling.
I was on the edge of failing, and I mean, I didn't do any of my homework. I mean, I would try it sometimes, and then I would just give up because, you know, it was just completely over my head.
He's now taking AP Calculus, and he's getting an A. Sometimes all a child needs is a little help.
Right?
Right.
You know that, don't you? Yeah. Okay.